Supernatural Season 13, Episode 2, Rising Sun. This is definitely a great second episode. I think they did some really great stuff with Jack. We are actually introduced to our brand new villain, who is the final Knight of Hell. I want to say his name is Asmodeus. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He comes in, he bursts into the room as if he were an angel because it was a giant white light, but it's just a demon, an insanely powerful demon, dressed in just all white, just immaculate white, like that was all it was. And he comes in, and he's, the southern, final Knight of Hell, and I'm very excited for what they introduced with his character. Not only did we get him as a villain, but we also have the idea of this new creature. I mean, they already did that in the last season, introducing this alternate universe with the Tempter demons. And now in this episode, we have the Shadim, who are these crazy, weird-looking creatures. Like, we kind of get to see their arms a little bit, and they kind of look like they just had, cracked skin is pretty much how it looked. So that should be interesting to see. For some reason, I don't know why, I just assumed they would be like dogs. I don't know why that was in my head. I was thinking like hellhounds, and then like the Shadim would be like other sorts of crazy weird creatures. But they seem like they're going to be like weird sort of vampire-esque, not from supernatural vampire, but like other weird versions of vampires I've seen where it's like the skin is like straight to the bone, there's hardly any meat, and they have like the weird claws and stuff. So not soon, but at some point, of course, somebody's going to let them out. Maybe we'll actually see Jack do it himself in order to fight his father. I don't know if that's what they're going to kind of head towards by the end of this season, and it's going to be Jack versus, Lucifer, which they also reference in this episode. We get quite a bit of interesting information. Jack, or any Nephilim, really, is basically meant to be more powerful than the angel that sired them. And of course, this is Lucifer's, Nephilim, so he's going to be even more powerful than Lucifer, and that should be very interesting to see when it comes down to actual conflict. So that explains why pretty much nothing really seems to affect him. He can't be sent away, he can't be killed, no matter what the weapon, and at this point he can open up gates of hell just by focusing on it. So that was another little tidbit. We did find out that he can actually fly, he could teleport. So it was definitely a good episode as far as, random bits of knowledge coming in. Donatello comes back, and we found out the reason why is because he felt basically the energy kind of emanating off of Jack. So he's able to track him down, and that's how he finds, Sam, Dean, and Jack. That's how they end up finding Jack and Asmodeus at the end of the episode as well. So I was glad he didn't die, because the second time Asmodeus showed up and he was pretending to be Donatello, I was really worried because he pretended to be the waitress at the bar when he was talking with Dean, and then we see that he killed her. And so when Donatello came in, I was like, the way he was talking, and because at first it was like, okay, this could actually be Donatello, and then it went to certain other elements about him getting like super excited about being molded. Like once that part came up, it was like 100%. It's like molded. Interesting. It was like, Asmodeus is in this very unique position as the current ruler of hell, because it's like, all right, well, we're gonna wait until Lucifer comes back, and we'll have him take over once he's here, or once we're able to find him. But for now, we'll have Jack take over. We'll kind of groom him to be the ruler of hell. I'll be his advisor until Lucifer comes in and all that good stuff. And then he gets this extra little bit of information, which ties into his story early on, where he explains how he made Lucifer mad, centuries ago by trying to train these things called, the Shadim. And so because Lucifer couldn't, face these things, like, he even says, it was like, Lucifer feared them, as he should. And I was like, there are very few things that have ever been an issue for Lucifer. And then they kind of, we get another introduction to some crazy, super, super ancient demonic thing that was so bad, God would not let it touch the light. So that was pretty cool. I was like, alright, that's a very simple introduction. It's so old that no one knows about it. Naturally, Knight of Hell, like the oldest of the old. He comes in and is like, this is what happened, and this is pretty much the last time anyone, most likely, has really interacted with these things. So we get a great introduction there. We get the little bit of story where, he was wounded by the devil, and he says that, that brought us together and stuff, and then it's pretty clear. It's like, okay, this is kind of my way to take things back for myself if I want to, rule permanently and, kind of cast Lucifer off to the side. I can use this son against him, get the Shadim, use Jack to train them, and then have control when Lucifer gets back and is like, I was here to help you this whole time, Jack. Take him down. Which I would assume would get Asmodeus killed, because, Lucifer always does, his finger snap thing. He doesn't tend to play around too much. Not when it comes to, when it's really serious, he doesn't play around. He'll talk it up for eons if it's just like like in this episode with him and Mary. The angels came in and he was just chatting it up. Like it was no big deal whatsoever for him. He was just talk, talk, talk. And then it wasn't that much of a conversation when Michael came down. They did a little bit because it's like alternate dimensions and stuff. And then they got down to fighting. It wasn't like, oh, I can snap my finger and you're gone. But he created the Knights of Hell, so that could happen if it ultimately came down to that sort of crazy situation anyway. But really enjoyed what we got out of this episode. I like the elements that they showed for Jack as far as his expanding powers, the idea, the potential of what they're going to be giving us as far as our main villain, him coming in, and then whatever they're going to be doing with these Shadim. Like I said, that'll of course be down the line, but I'm definitely looking forward to how that's going to play out. Naturally, the side story of Mary and Lucifer, not really sure exactly what that means. I'm very curious how that's going to play out as well. We get a pretty cool story with them. You know, like an angel comet basically just hits the ground and that splits up Lucifer and Mary. So she takes off, runs into a hunter, gets a little bit touchy. Lucifer happens to find her again, plows straight through that guy. And then they deal with some angels, snap of a finger, he's gone, or all of them are gone. And then we get this universe's version of Michael. And that's all we really see. That's pretty much where that ends, is the two of them in conflict. And I thought it was going to cut back to that, and it was actually going to be Mary helping Lucifer out and like killing this demon. But that didn't end up happening. It kind of ended there. So I think they kind of saved that, and it's like, all right, we're either going to see her help Lucifer because he would be the only person that really cared to get back to their own universe, or she's going to kill him and, you know, be like, hey, he was the devil, this sucks, you're an angel, help me out, which is not going to happen because, of course, you know, it's Lucifer. They aren't going to officially kill him off and nothing's going to kill him anyway. So we will see what happens there. I'm definitely looking forward to how that side story is going to play out. The one thing that's been having me super curious so far is that every time the titles and stuff come up, Samantha Smith, who plays Mary, is a guest star. And every time I see that, I'm like, oh, does that mean that she is not going to make it? Does that mean she's, you know, going to be stuck in that dimension? Or does that mean she's going to die? So it's just weird that, you know, that comes up as guest starring. But Mark Pellegrino doesn't. Like, his is before the guest starring stuff. So that always makes me curious. Like, what exactly does that mean? So I don't think she'll be in too many episodes this season, but I don't think she'll actually be dead. I mean, she just came back. They aren't going to do that and, you know, bring her back and kill her after, you know, one season and a couple of episodes. So I don't think that's the case. But the fact that it keeps saying guest starring, it does make me wonder what that means. Like, if they get back, is she going to, you know, be like in a coma, that sort of deal, and they continue on? Because they do have, you know, Jack as a new character coming into the fold, and who knows what in the world's going to happen with stuff with, you know, Cass coming back to life and, you know, all that stuff. However that's even going to play out. So there are a million questions to it. I don't know, but I am looking forward to how that side story is going to ultimately play out. And like I said, I really enjoyed this one. It was a simple episode. It was just like, here's some information. It wasn't like too much exposition where it's like, this is the, you know, the story, like just talking, and it's like, this is what's happening. We got to see some of the powers. Most of it was exposition. It was like, here's this new sort of creature, and here's, you know, Jack getting these new abilities, or here's the potential at least for his ability. And there are also examples like seeing him just teleport because, you know, they were arguing about the thing with the tattoos, which was an interesting moment. I was very curious about that. And it was in the promo. I was like, okay, they're going to try to give him the tattoo and everything. I wonder how that's going to play out. And of course, they just completely go away after he ends up like wounding the guy. So that was a waste of their time and money. They just go right into him. So I would assume with the tattoos going away, naturally, I would imagine that means that he can't be possessed anyway. Considering he's even more powerful than Lucifer, I'm sure that that's exactly what that means. Like, there's no way for him to actually get possessed. So that should be interesting if someone, I don't know, I guess tries to do that to him. I don't know what that would mean for them if they like jump into his body. Would they just be like, you know, erased away instantly like the tattoos? Or, you know, it would be very interesting to see that play out. But tattoos just get wiped away. He's so powerful that spells don't work on him. And it should be interesting. One thing to note is that he was not affected by the warding as far as what they did in the hotel. So it does make me wonder. I mean, I guess technically you could say that that was, you know, for demons, but naturally I'm sure they have warding for both the angels as well as the demons. But he wasn't affected, and typically like that can be an element of play, but normally that's not much of an issue. So there was no like, oh, he accidentally touched something and it burned his hand. But it was interesting. Like, there was no effect on him whatsoever. Which, you know, if you're within the wardings, because they did the same thing with Cass in the bunker, there's no actual effect unless it's a specific thing. So it does make me wonder if that'll come up, because they talked about it, and like every time they're in the room, you can see it on the door. So it mostly just made me think about it. It's like, okay, so obviously he's not affected by certain things. Of course, him not being cast away in the previous episode was a big thing. So it does make me wonder what's going to happen as far as, if there are specifically angelic wardings, how that would affect him if he can or cannot enter an area, kind of like Cass can, depending on who it's warded against. But he is half human, so maybe that side of him, considering we saw him not get cast out by the angel spell that Sam cast before, considering that happened, I would imagine angel wardings might hurt him a little bit. They might have like somewhat of an effect, and they might strain his abilities a little bit, or just give him like a little bit of pain. But I don't think he would be trapped. Like, I think he could go wherever he wants to, and considering he is the son of Lucifer, I would imagine demon, stuff would probably not affect him that much either. Or, I mean, because technically he's not a demon anyway. But I would assume no wardings would really have an impact on him, and if they do, it would probably, he'd probably be able to get out faster than anyone else has ever been able to. So, just a lot of cool little things that they had in this episode. Lots of potential for this new villain, who I definitely like. He seems interesting. He goes in, the first thing he does is like, alright, you three, you're good. Everyone else, dead. And he doesn't touch anybody. He just kind of raises his hands. Everyone chokes, and then their eyes explode. It's like, alright, you are all gone, and that's good. I got you three guys, and now we're going to go for, Lucifer and his son, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So, I like his character, and, he just comes in, and already, like I said, right off the top, he's scheming to go against Lucifer because he knows that Jack has the potential, and he even saw that he had the ability towards the end of this episode to open that gate of hell. Which also, by the way, that led to an awesome scene where Sam was actually reading from John's journal. I just thought that was cool because it's just like every once in a while they're like, yeah, Dad's journal. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, because that was like all of season 1 and even season 2 really. So every time it pops up, it's like, oh, cool, they do still use that. So it was just like a cool little moment where it's just like, yeah, Dad's journal says this, and I just like that. I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's just a random little moment, but definitely a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. I believe I saw Jodie in the promo. They didn't focus on it, but I think she was in there as well. So got some characters coming back, and it should be interesting to see. I'm just curious, like even the most simple tasks, like all the creatures they face, which at this point they know how to deal with it all until something new happens. But at this point, I'm just like, it could be the simplest thing. What's gonna happen with Jack involved? Like he can do, he's at like, he almost literally is like a god character. So every situation, no matter what the creature is, I'm just like, how's that going to play out with Jack? He can just be like, poof, you're gone. Like at some point, he'd have that control to do basically, the finger snap and you just poof, you're dead. So it really makes me wonder how that's going to play out, because things are going to go after him. What can and can't affect him will kind of be built up over the season as he gets attacked by, all the random creatures that are going to be coming at him. So that just has to be very interesting. And no matter what the case is, I'm just like, it could be the simplest thing. It could be vampires again. And it'll be like, let's see how Jack handles that. And so that's an interesting thing that I'm really looking forward to with this season, just because even the simplest stuff, even though it's always been entertaining, now there's this really crazy new element of Jack and his abilities and him learning his abilities and still teetering, because technically he could still end up being a villain towards the end of the season. I personally doubt it, just because of how they're doing it with Sam and Dean kind of helping him out. Dean not so much, just kind of going along for the ride, but Sam definitely helping him out. But he could easily turn. Like at some point he can make up his own mind and just say, you know what, I do prefer to be evil, but I don't know, I don't see it going that way, but who knows, there could be something there. But either way, this was a great episode. Looking forward to the next one. Of course, we'll love to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and I definitely want to know what you guys think of our new main villain. Asmodeus seemed pretty cool to me. He's already scheming to kind of overthrow Lucifer, so we got that with him as the main villain, and then these Shadim creatures being introduced as well. So I would love to know what you think about the introduction of those two conflicts, which I'm sure, obviously, Asmodeus is that's the main villain, but the Shadim are definitely going to come back. I don't know if they're going to wait until Lucifer is back, or what. Like, I don't know if that's what they're going to do to, like, officially kill off Lucifer or not, but that's there for a reason. It was like, okay, if Lucifer is scared of this thing, it's something to be used against him. And every season, it's always, every season with Lucifer at least, it's like, all right, we got this weapon, the weapon is destroyed. That's just how it works. The weapon is destroyed and it just doesn't work, and oh no, we can't get Lucifer. And if they're officially ending Lucifer's character this season, that would be the way to do it with these wild creatures, which naturally would go out of control, and then that can be an issue for the next season. Who knows? It depends on how many of those creatures there actually are. But it was something there. So I would love to know what you guys think about those 2 points in this episode, and of course what you guys thought about the episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.